There we go. All right. Anyway, welcome to Houston with a Problem, where the microphone turns off every time I reboot the computer. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I wasn't able to do a Friday show because some vandals knocked out the internet for the entire county, and then therefore I was also not able to get my weekly options that I want to do for GameStop, and I missed out on a big ol' the curse continues. That's just where we are. I am going to buy some weeklies tomorrow. I think we're going to get gamma ramping because 43,000 options went in the money on Friday, which is about 4.3 million shares. And that's enough volume, I think, to kick it up a few more bucks. And we might see, if enough gamma happens, we might start to see delta hedging for the following Friday. And that should make things pretty awesome. I got another Michael Mystery shirt here today. This one's pretty fantastic. This shirt is actually pink. It looks kind of red in my screen, at least. This shirt is so pink, it makes this look red. Anyway, I'm pinking it up. I'm Pinko Sundays. It's not dark outside, so that means we can just do a normal intro. Haha. Houston, we have problems. Nothing but problems. Okay. Yeah, lots of lawsuits going on. HBC is being sued, but then another suit was settled, and then all of the members of the board are being sued of the BBBY, and I think there's gonna be some cash that comes out of it for everybody. There's piles and piles of cash. I don't know if we holders who bought in bankruptcy will get anything. Like when Enron had something similar happen, it was the shareholders who held before bankruptcy that got payouts, not the ones who bought in bankruptcy. So we'll see where it goes. I only have about 1,200 of my shares are from pre-bankruptcy. So money's money. Anywho, a whole bunch of you here on a Sunday. Case Chapman was first. Woo! Logic Dustbin. Late night Sunday show. Yay, but way past bedtime. I'm sorry. In case he says, must be time for Moas if Houston's doing a Sunday show. I'm just doing a show because I didn't do it on Friday, and my hand hurts. I went to go throw the baseball. So I take a dog for a walk. We walked to elementary school. There's a concrete wall I go play baseball against. We get there, and there's a black lab at the school who just attacked Monkey Butt, and they were going to murder each other. It was just teeth and gnarly gnashing, and I had to pull them apart, and I got chomped on a few times, and my hand's really bruised and was bleeding, and didn't get to throw the baseball because, like, hey, my hand's bleeding. Let's put as much force on those broken blood vessels as possible. So no throwing today, and my hand's all bruised. It sucks. But hey, went to my dad's house. We ate tacos because it's Cinco de Mayo. And then Logic Dustbin gifted 1 membership to Lila, and they gifted 5 more. So Derek Cohorse, Kim Fusting, KYP, Treetop, Tulip. Yeah. So no, there's not too many. I think one lurker in there. Passing Cloud, time to get jump scared when Houston goes live in 40. Did I jump scare you? I had no sound apparently. And Logic Dustbin, good night all. Too bad I can't stay awake for a double intro. I'm sorry. And I turned the intros off? Yes, I did. Okay, so no double intro. Matthew Jackson. Who you got, Kendrick or Drake? Personally, I think Kendrick's winning. Oh, Kendrick Lamar by far. Drake is... I've always thought Drake was terrible. Was a terrible musician. Just, I hate every single one of his songs. I dated a girl who was obsessed with Drake and just could not get enough of him, and I just didn't get it. She put his music on, and I was like, this is awful. He is really bad at this. And then I discovered that he, grooms young girls, and it's like, well... That makes sense. I got Kendrick all the way. Drake sucks. I've never liked Drake at all. And I hope he goes to jail someday for, grooming kids. Case Chapman, Kendrick is destroying Drake. Yes. Butts says also Drake responded like 30 minutes ago. I'm sure it's terrible. I'm sure it's the most boring thing in the entire world. And he'd probably had somebody else make anything creative out of it. Houston says, Houston, what does Crystal Ball tell you about GME this week? Gamma Monday for sure. I'm very curious to see if volatility's back, if it can go off the rails. We haven't had a real good run since August 2022 when it went to $40. Like the biggest we had since then is like what, $27, somewhere around there. I would like it to so we'll see where that goes. I want the volatility back so bad. Bring back volatility. Let's make everyone just go, what? All over again. So, bring back. JL 2023. Happy Sunday, Houston. Would you trade your arms for wings? No. Because I can get in a mechanical bird and fly. With wings, I cannot put hamburgers on my face. I got to eat them off the ground like an idiot. And I don't want to do that. I want to hold that burger and munch it just fine. Says 54 stream starting soon. Better start lubing up. And I'm off. I traveled to Silverdale and a Sunday show. You've made it to Silverdale, our strip mall capital of Kitsap County. Welcome. Things to do in Silverdale. You go to Monica's Bakery in Old Town Silverdale. Delicious sandwiches, great baked goods. That's about the only thing I can recommend in Silverdale. I mean, if you want to do like Costco and Lowe's and stuff like that, have at it. But that's about the only thing that's worth it. We have a Ross and TJ Maxx. Welcome to Silverdale. Dark Horse wants bread. I want it too, so bad. Case Chapman, I bought some GME puts Friday. Either it's squeeze season or my puts print, or I'm able to load up on more GME. Well, thank you for sacrificing yourself for that. I do think there's going to be gamma. So I hope your puts are for further out, because you might get back to it again at some point. But I think there's going to be gamma on Monday with the need to buy about 4.3 million shares. And if it pushes more stocks, more shares, price goes up to like $20 or something. Well, let's have a look at the options chain. GME options chain. Excuse me, tacos. Okay. GME options chain. What we got? What do we got? That's Friday. So we have. There's from a few thousands. Doesn't actually look like there's that much beyond what's in the money right now. We got 1, 2, whole bunch at $25. So I guess if things go at $25, so yourself will get bonkers. But implied volatility went through the roof. These things have gotten expensive. Normally the weeklies non-earnings would be like 60 cents, and they're at like 270 right now. I'm gonna try to pick up 5 or 10 of them if I can on Monday. I think you'll see a good jump on Monday. At the very least, I probably won't hold them past Wednesday morning because theta decay will start to destroy stuff. But yeah. But things can get weird. It's volatility back. I mean, the basket was moving, cost was moving, AMC was moving, everything in that basket was moving on Friday. Like something weird is happening. So maybe I'm hoping the volatility is back. I'm hoping. What's it look like for the monthlies on the 17th? Oh, big numbers. Okay. So big numbers. At any point, people can start exercising these things because they're in the money. But we've got 50,000, 60, 75, 80. So we got about 85,000 or so, 86,000. Currently in the money for the monthlies on the 17th, and then big numbers up after that. We got another 5, 15, 30, 60,000 going up to $30. So if we get ourselves a good old push, because volatility hopefully is back. So we get gamma ramp, going to delta hedging. See the sucker go up there? Push another 50, 60, 70,000 options into the money. That'd be lovely. That'd be really lovely. But it all started with a whale. A whale last week before, bought like $1 million in $12 calls. And my guess is this is a big chunk of them right here. These ones for the 17th. And they're all in the money right now. They could exercise them at any time and push another 2.5 million shares to get purchased. So, yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's exercise. Exercise everything. Exercise it all. Just keep exercising. Stay in shape. Chad Clifford, Houston, happy birthday. Do you think MOAS is still a thing, or do you feel like me that the lawmakers and the financial criminals are working together to suppress any wrongdoing? Blink twice if they got you. I think MOAS is still a thing. The thing about it is you can have all the lawmakers and all the rules and everything you want and everything go your way, and that only works until you're on the chopping block. People at Bear Stearns and at Lehman Brothers, they were masters of the universe. They were king of the hill. They ruled all until they didn't. And all of a sudden, poof, all their power went away instantaneously because they don't have any money to back it up anymore. And if you're in a situation, I don't care how big of a bank you are, I don't care how big of a fund you are, how big of an institution you are, how big of an insurance company you are, if you don't have any money, no one's going to do what you want them to do. They just aren't. Like, my company is vaporized out of existence. Senator, I need you to make these rules. Senator's like, you don't have any money, so you can't pay me, so I'm not going to do anything you ask of me. And that's how it works. So at some point, someone's going to have to pay somebody else. There's lots of news coming out in mainstream media about the off-book liabilities that these big banks have. And just Goldman and JP Morgan have, $7 trillion in off-book liabilities, Monkey? Is that what it was? Something like that. And that doesn't even count the derivatives market, which is in the hundreds of trillions. Shit's hitting the fan. Multiple buildings in multiple areas. Chicago, were the ones in Chicago that sold. One of them was purchased in 2016 for like $200 million and just sold for $60 million. Everyone's losing money on real estate right now. That means the banks are losing money on real estate, which means everybody is losing money on real estate. You can't hold that. You can make all the laws you want, but there's no way to artificially make those buildings have value again if no one's in them. I have 1 million square feet that's empty. Do you want to buy my 1 million square feet that's empty? I have zero demand for anyone who wants to be in here. Pay me top dollar because I bought this thing in 2018 for $500 million. And people are like, no. One of the buildings was 18 million, I think. It's like a $200 million building that a bank bought at auction for $18 million. It's coming. You can't hold it back. It's a global thing. Keegan Murphy, whole potatoes. It's a Sunday show. It is. And Louis posts his pictures. Chris Range, wow, a Sunday show. Yes. Dennis Harris, last week, one of two things were supposed to be paid off on BBYQ, but haven't heard anything, or a result of what to expect. Your thoughts? I've read two different sources. One said that the 2024 bonds moved to August 1st. Another one just a little bit ago showed on a Bloomberg terminal that it was moved to June 1st. So, or June 3rd, whatever that date is. So here we are. There's also looked like there's going to be payout for creditors, unsecured creditors, starting this week. So, B-Ball 3710. Thoughts on the 9-year, $11 billion, 1,600-foot high speed rail California built? Was a lot of that money laundered, or what the hell? 9-year, $11 billion, 1,600-foot high speed rail California. What? I know they've been trying to do a high-speed rail from Sacramento to LA, and it's been an absolute nightmare. Eminent domaining has been really slow, and they just need to just take those fields. Just be like, look, it's dry, it's barren, putting a train in here. And I know that they're starting a line from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, but I think they just literally did the groundbreaking this week or something on it. So, yeah. Beyond that, I don't know enough about it. Frozen State Productions. Looking like my MMT efforts have fallen on deaf ears, I was unable to put together a coalition of white hat investors to buy and take MMT private. MMT, they Uzi fucked up, man. They basically laid off 80% of the staff. They're like, hey, we're going to start shutting down all of our labs. And I think they already probably have shut down their labs. I think the shorts have won, personally. I think the shorts destroyed the business. Absolutely won. And there's only an off chance that some, I don't know, Greek shipping magnate comes in and just buys the company out of bankruptcy. Or buys all their shares now or something. But I don't have enough cash to do it. You don't have enough cash to do it. I feel pretty damn powerless. Uzi sucks. Uzi, you suck. You suck. That's just, you're bad at your job. And it seems like you single-handedly imploded the entire company and destroyed everything without ever trying to, sell a product. Just sell something. That's all you have to do. You have one guy, and his job is salesman. And he's like a total golf pro. Maybe wears a shirt like this. I don't know. And you put him on a plane, and you send that plane to Seoul, South Korea, and he goes, hey, Samsung, I got this shit. You can put on your phone, and it's cheaper than the little antenna you have on your phone. It can act like an antenna on your phone. And they go, oh, here's kajillions of dollars. Either license it to us or produce it for us. And you go, sweet, I've got revenue. Done. You hire for $15,000. You hire a K Street lobbyist. That K Street lobbyist goes and visits everybody who's on the transportation committees in the Senate and the House. You say, hey, $4 billion a year in losses are happening with our airlines and delays because 12-year-olds with laser pointers point them at planes and dazzle the pilots, and the pilots go blind and they can't land. So if we require every single pilot who flies in American airspace to wear these glasses that block laser light, we will save $4 billion a year and bajillions of hours of time of Americans. And they go, oh, whatever, okay, we'll require that. Boom. Now you just made another $300 million a year selling those glasses to every single pilot on Earth. Sell something. You need your bros, man. I just don't understand how hard a concept that is. Everyone hates the sales guys. They do, because they're total smarmy, schmeezy, schmoozy dudes, right? But they serve a purpose. That's why they exist. Because you have a product, and you get that product from your factory into use out there in the world. And if you don't have them doing that, then what's the point of the factory? Get your smarmy, schmoozy sales douche bros and send them out in the wild, man. That's all you had to do. Just sell something. It's so simple. Anyway, Dan Harris. Disproving Rule 13F2 and the amendment to CAT tracking bona fide market maker exemption usage will benefit no one other than market makers. Quote from X Endgame for investors. Thoughts? Yeah, that's the one that's going to be up for a vote, I think on Tuesday or something. Yeah, there should be no exceptions to anyone. You want to level the playing field in the markets? Then you make everyone follow the same rules. If one guy gets to do high frequency trading, then everyone should be able to do high frequency trading, right? If one guy gets to sell naked in the market whenever the hell he wants, then everyone should be able to sell naked in the market when they want. Or make it illegal so that no one can sell naked in the market whenever they want. So we wouldn't have all these freaking problems that we do now. The market makers make their money by minting shares out of thin air and selling them to you, and then never doing anything about actually delivering those shares. Citadel has $67 billion in assets, and they owe $66 billion in shares that they've never delivered, which means they don't have any assets. Everything they have is just a giant inflated balloon that's ready to pop at any time. And they know the CAT system will show just how much they're printing out of thin air and delivering to people. And that's all money that should be going to the companies these people are buying these shares from. If anyone should be allowed to mint a bajillion shares out of thin air, it should be the company itself, right? So they can make money off of it. Not some asshole in Florida who beats his wife with a bedpost. There's no reason that 5 billion shares of GameStop are out there and GameStop never got to sell them, make the money off of it. It's their shares. It's theirs. If anyone's going to dilute their float, it should be them, not some third party who's never going to make good on what they owe. No, keep the CAT system looking at everyone's trades, make the ledger known to everybody, and go from there. Kelly Reed, McDonald's, Starbucks, and other big chains warn that low-income consumers are starting to crack. Looks like endgame is approaching. Yeah. I posted an article to the subreddit, which got incredible traction, about McDonald's disappointing earnings. Like, profit was up, but the number of customers was way down. The only reason profit was up because they jacked the prices so high. McDonald's has 3 customers: children, Happy Meals, Playland, blah, 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 blah. The lazy, I don't really feel like cooking right now. I can go get a burger, done. And the poor. And they priced out the poor. The poor are done, right? Their new electronic systems and their apps and everything is pissing off the lazy. So you order a burger, you got to push these buttons and shit, and there's a computer screen. You don't talk to a human being. You hope you're ordering it right. And it takes forever to get your burger. Or you order it on the app. Right? I don't order this on the app. I'm going to head on over to McDonald's. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to go. You order on the app, you show up at McDonald's, and like, yeah, you have an order? Yeah, I ordered on the app. Oh, we'll start making it. Dude, I ordered on the app so it'll be ready by the time I got here, not so that I can get here and then wait. I might as well have never used the app in the first place. And so that leaves children. And children don't have money. Their parents have money, but the children do not. They love getting their little toys. They love their Happy Meals. They love playing in the playlands, which have dwindled like crazy. But kids don't have money, and you are not going to make a bunch of money when here, I live in a wealthier community. Our McDonald's, it's like $18 for a Big Mac, fries, and a drink. I can go to the local pub and get a vastly superior burger that's like 4 times the size, fries, and a drink for about that much money. And it'll take just as long. So why on earth am I gonna be like, oh, I'll just swing by McDonald's when I can go to the local pub or restaurant and get the exact same amount of food, actually more food, for the same price? McDonald's gonna have to start cutting prices because poor people, making money off poor people was their big bread and butter. And if they're losing the poors, well, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to rely on those children. Yeah, so McDonald's prices have outstripped every other fast food joint. They've had more than 100% increase on prices since 2014. I think the second highest is Taco Bell at like 65%. It's not good for the long term. And what you need cheap enough prices so you do build it in as a routine for people. So they do it like once a week or whatever. Oh, I'll get McDonald's once a week. But now they're like, maybe once a month. Maybe not at all. And then in their brain, their McDonald's is too expensive. I'll never go there again. And that's what they think. And then you lost those customers forever. Plus, it's, if you're gonna be the most expensive fast food joint and you have the worst food out of all those, I mean, seriously, McDonald's food is the worst food. They got good fries. and their ice cream machines are always broken. But their burgers suck. Their nuggets are vile. Yeah. Rest in peace. Kelly Reed. So like the GME say, it's going the AI route. I love to see the spike wake me up until it hits the thousands. MOS hopefully coming soon. And here we are, 8 o'clock, all the mutes. You're muted, mic check, silent, can't hear you. How long is he going to go? No volume, can't hear a word he's saying. Classic start to a show. Silent show, muted, he's on a roll. This is great. No more technical difficulties, audio. Silent mute boy, no sound. Couldn't have said it better myself. No audio, lol. Houston a problem. Can't read lips. How many intros today? Gah. Sure is nice. Reminds me of the inside of a Taco Bell in the 1990s. I need to learn how to read lips. This is why I love this show. Houston a problem. Just realized, blah, ha, ha, ha. Once again, wondering when you'll have the checklist for rebooting. Never. I'll need a checklist to remember to check the checklist. So, love the Ken shirt. This is very much a Ken shirt, isn't it? This is a Ken shirt. Paratarian, Houston. If aliens came down and said they'd take you on a trip around the galaxy, answer all your questions, etc., but with obvious time dilation issues, you return an unknown year. Do you go? It's a good question. I guess I would do it on a couple of conditions. One, that I could let everyone know, like, hey, I'm going on a trip for a while. I have no idea what time dilation is back. When I return, you may all be long dead. Two, if those furry creatures can come with me, because I can't just abandon them. They've been abandoned in their lives before. I can't do that to them again. So the floor dog and the Ottoman cat, those creatures come with me. And we'll travel. We'll get pictures of 3 of us all over the galaxy. So yeah, those would be my conditions. Frozen Tip Productions. Are we looking at a 2-day gamma, then settle down, or keep running? About 1 weekly on Friday. That's a good question. So I was reading something that this Friday's price increase was the first time there was a huge price increase on a Friday since, what was it, the 20th of January, 2021? That all the big increases have been on Wednesdays or Thursdays for like freak events, and then gammas for Monday, Tuesday. So the Friday price increase was the first time it's happened since the sneeze. So, hearing news like that makes you get a little wiggly in your seat. So I'm going to try to pick up as many weekly as I possibly can in hopes that freaky stuff happens before then. The sneeze was a Wednesday, Thursday, right? I think that's what it was when they turn off the buy button. So if things get wild, like I may sell my weeklies. Maybe Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning if things are looking good, and then reinvest in twice as many for the following week. So, see where it goes. BBBY brand, your undershirt is very pink for me. Just maybe on my screen it's not very pink. It looks almost red-orange on my screen. This is pink. This is very pink. Phil, your undershirt looks very salmon. I think it depends on our screens. If I look down on it, it's like a pink city. Meister, Sifu is fighting with Pulte on X. I saw that, and Pulte is very litigious, and he's like, "Come on, Doug, keep talking." I love it when Republicans fight. Jake Geyser Butcher says Tuesday they're gonna cancel the cat because all the audit trail rollout. They may. I think it'd be really stupid of them to do that, and we'll show just who's been paid by whom to make sure that happens. It'll show who we're supposed to eat when the revolution happens. Anyone who votes to limit the cat on Tuesday, eat them. We'll just eat them. Post-revolution grilled meal of Senator so-and-so and Representative Hujan-Wotsit. Frozen State Productions, it appears Will Smith was grooming his son Jaden, and Jaden hit multiple sex parties at Diddy's. Was Will groomed since he was a child star? I had not heard that one. But everything in that family seems like it's weird these days. I would not trust bringing anyone to parties at Diddy's. At least the ones who stayed until like late in the night. Kenny Terhune, hello from Delaware. Hello from the other side of the country. Super Steve, let's say GME float is all DRS. MOAS still won't happen unless SEC actually steps in, right? Because all the market makers will just keep printing fake shares. They would keep printing fake shares. I think the key is for a collapse in capital at the market makers so that they actually face margin calls and liquidations. Because they can't, if they can't meet their market maker status of basically cash and assets on hand, then they lose the power to mint because they lose their market maker status. And then the prime brokers got to go. I think prime broker for Citadel is Bank of America or something, right? And, Bank of America is holding on by a thread, so we'll see how long they could last in that situation. But if the hedge funds start going one after another, then the hedge fund at Citadel, which keeps Citadel afloat, is also done. They don't have any money. There's a reason why they put the limit on withdrawals at Citadel, because they don't have the cash to give you. The only reason a hedge fund puts a limit on how much you can withdraw is if it's a freaking Ponzi scheme. Because if they don't have your cash, they don't have your cash. So that's what Bernie Madoff did. He was like, I don't have your money, so I'm going to limit how much you can pull out each quarter. Kayla Reed, U.S. probe of TD Bank tied to U.S. $653 million money laundering and drug trafficking case. This to me screams a lack of transparency, and I sadly see more cuts of jobs from TD due to the fine. Banks launder. They help launder money all the time. Every bank you can imagine is doing it. It's just how well are they keeping it under wraps, or how little do they have of oversight for it happening. Umpqua Bank got busted basically financing like 3 giant billion-dollar Ponzi schemes in a row. And there's a little regional bank here in the Northwest. And the feds are like, why don't you have people making sure you weren't helping with Ponzi schemes? Bank's like, hey, sorry. HSBC, they were like the go-to bank in Mexico for drug lords. You just literally bring in like dump trucks of cash and dump it in their back dock. And they're like, good for us. We don't need to know where this money came from. And they would just cash it for you. So you present banks with money, they're going to figure out how to get that money into their accounts. Now, if you're bringing like $10,000 to deposit, people are going to be like, where's this money from? And then you can get reported. You bring in like $500 million and the bank's going to go, shh, because that's how they operate. It's easier, I think, probably to buy a sailboat and take that money to the Caymans and just offload it there than it is to like worry about places where there's regulations and where they care about where your money's coming from. Just, I don't know, become a sailor. That's probably the best way to do it. Get your own private plane or something. G-Font, how about having Jamie back for sometime? They called a strange option activity before the current run-up. I would love to have Jamie on. Jamie, come on, my man. He was in the chat a couple months ago. I messaged him on Reddit and I never heard back because I'm not on Twitter, so I can't message him there. But someone messaged him for me and tell him, hey, look at your Reddit messages. Houston messaged you months ago. The FU concept. It's at 1650 right now. I know. I think the high was 17 something, intraday high on Friday. That's where it should have been doing at the earnings. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. So, like, did Jimmy say? Oh, I already answered that one. Bigham said there are 3 banks that hold over $7 trillion. Oh yeah, there's a lot in those off books. D, happy birthday, Houston. You ever check out ASRE? Their 2 technologies are unbelievable. One of them seems to break laws of physics. Power. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to look at them. I had them on here, and they're up here in one of my tabs. I never got around to reading it. not my fault. The internet went out. I'll use that as an excuse for the next couple of weeks. Mr. Oak, Houston, fun fact. Did you know a majority of archaeologists are women due to their natural ability to dig up the past? There's a good sexist joke. Ridge Rat 165. What is your thoughts on Bill Gates' nuclear power plant in Kermerer, Wyoming? Just started working at uranium mine in northeast Wyoming that is owned by an Australian company. Okay, gave me coordinates. Let's go look at what we got. All right, copy. Boom. Google Earth. Google Earth. Or once that Google Earth got open because I restarted the computer, therefore Google Earth was off. It's coming. I see the wheel spinning. The wheel of time is spinning. The Google Earth is here. There we go. Okay. Let's go to Wyoming. Bam, bam, bam. Going to Wyoming. So we're at the south end of, looks like, was that the Wind River Range? Or the Grand Tetons? That's Grand Tetons, right? Grand Teton. Okay, so south of there, got ourselves a nuclear power plant. Looks like right in the heart of uranium country out here. Everything's really slow. Come on, internet, you can do this. You can do it, man. I know you can. Not in power plant. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go. So there we go. So this must be the ponds that they're, this must be the pumps for the ponds for the cooling. Pacific Corp. Word. All right. So what we got here? We have ourselves, looks like maybe 2 cooling towers, maybe 3. Got 3 steam plants at least there. Looks like, this looks like coal fire. This looks like a coal fire plant to me, and not necessarily a nuclear power plant. But maybe they're going to build one on the same site? Because this looks like coal. This all looks like coal. There's a couple of them out here. There's down Meow somewhere is, no, it's north of Little America. So it'll be up here is the Bridger coal fire plant. And yeah, but Wyoming's got a absolute buttload of uranium. Just so much uranium there. Like crazy amounts of uranium. So yeah, there's a lot to be had, and it's easy, but they also has a boatload of coal. So there's huge coal strip mines all over the place out here. See if we can see some more coal strip mines. Airhead Springs, blah, blah, blah. Rock Springs. We got this one? No. I mean, when you drive through, you can see the coal seams. You go up, if you drive from like Cody, so we go a little further north. We've got Dayton, Big Sharon, Bighorn. Go to Cody. So you go to where Cody is. Cody's a neat little town right here, gateway to the Yellowstone. You can drive south through here, and you'll see really cool rock outcrops, and you'll see these like anywhere from 6 inches to 2 foot wide coal seams to come out of the rock outcrops everywhere. There's just so much coal. You just go on the side of the road, you can just break off your own piece of coal. But they also have astonishing amounts of uranium. This is where Uranium One was, which was the Canadian uranium company that sold to another group that then sold to the Russians, and everyone was like trying to blame Hillary Clinton for it because the guy who originally sold it in 2004 donated to the Clinton Foundation, and then in 2007 it got sold to the Russians. And like, it's Hillary Clinton's fault. And like, okay, whatever. Learn to use a calendar. But there's really cool coal seams all through that area. But as far as your question, working at uranium mine, doing a nuclear power plant, do it. I would take nuclear power over coal power. I just want the United States, if we're going to do nuclear power in this country again and ramp up, that we need to have secondary fire plants, meaning we take the nuclear waste and we burn it again. And we just keep using up all those neutrons as much as we can until it's fairly inert. And then we got to go figure out something to do with the waste. And I had no problems with Yucca Mountain for storing nuclear waste. It's as remote as it gets in the lower 48. There's no one out there. The groundwater never leaves the area, so there's nowhere for it to go. I think it's okay. So I think it's totally fine to stuff it all there. The people who live near there are like, fuck you. And I totally get that also, because it's scary to have nuclear waste stored there. But we need to figure out something with a nuclear waste. We need to be like the Japanese and do secondary nuclear plants with our waste. Or do thorium or something that's a little different. But yeah. We need power. We're power hungry people. Matthew Jackson, know anything about the ticker RDGL? Don't think so. RDGL. RDGL. Vivos Incorporated, 20 cents. Go back to, gotta turn off the Google Earth. What we've been doing. It was 25 cents at one time, and then it was down to 5 cents, and now it's back up again. So it looks like it's done some work in the last month. It's 5x'd, but it's a radiation oncology medical device company. It develops brachytherapy devices for the treatment of non-resectable tumors in the United States. Okay. They've got radiogel, a hydrogel liquid containing tiny yttrium-90 phosphate particles that may be administered directly to a tumor. All right, now I know everything I need to know about the company. I do nothing. But the price has definitely spiked. So good for them. At one point, it was $100 a share. Or $86 a share back in 2013. And then dropped all the way down to tens of cents. And then became fractions of a penny for a while. Now we're back up into the 20-cent range. All right. They're based here in Richland, so they must be workers on the nuclear stuff from the Hanford plant, be my guess. So here in Washington, not too far from Hanford. Matt S. Houston, why did the man fall in the well? The man didn't see that well. Oh. Kitty. Oh. That's what I have to say. Oh. Oh, I moved and I leaned back in my chair, therefore it must be monkey butt food time. Is that what you're thinking? What time we got? 8:44? You know what? You got in a fight today. We can give you some nuggies. How about that? She got attacked. We can nuggies. You got attacked. Here's some sticky beef. Some brand new sticky beef. A couple of them here for you. All right. My hand is so bruised. That thing is just... You guys chomp really hard when you bite. You know that? Okay. Turn off the nuggie stare, Houston. Turn it off. Boom. 1. Get up here. Come on. Do it. Come on, monkey. Get up there. You can do it. Oh, the gentle dog. The gentle dog. She's eyeballing it. It's right there. It's so close. She's almost... Sorry, it's right there. It's right there, monkey. Come on. Let's get it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yes. Okay. We can do Jaws cam. Don't. Okay, we're good. Everyone's happy? You're happy? You got to watch that? Is that fine for you? Okay. Should we do some catnip for the cat? We've done catnip in a while. Let's get this little guy high. Let's do everything. You got the catnip here? Nope, this is catnip. This isn't for you. You don't care about this at all. That guy? That guy cares a lot. Oh, buddy. Yes. Look at these drugs. Look at these drugs. How about if I put it on a piece of paper for you? You can snort it up like lines of cocaine. Oh, yeah. There you go. Get it, kitty. Oh, now I'm covered in catnip. Yeah, let's get weird. Sunday night. They don't have to go to work tomorrow, right? Oh, eat it up. Every little scrap. Just keep licking. There you go. Get weird, cat. KCDB. Hi, HW. Do you have a Roth or traditional? Is it infidelity, or are you doing Buffett's 90-10 rule of index and bonds? Is it self-directed or manage which funds? I have a Roth. It's through Vanguard, and it just Vanguard funds. They do what they do. I selected medium risk, and it goes from I just put hundreds of dollars in it every week, and I ignore it. So that's where it goes. That's all I use it for. I just send them $200 a week and ignore it. And someday I'll look at it and go, that was the smart thing to do. Yes. KCB, Houston, did you hear about Vanguard adding tons of new fees and selling off their small business IRA sector? What gives trouble or just long overdue? Huh. I've not heard about that. I've not been talked about. My mind's not through small business or anything. But no, I'll have to check that out. I wonder what that means for everyone. Oh, Kitty, you just spilled all over yourself, didn't you? Oh, man. It is on you. You got to groom yourself and get all the drugs off of you. That cat is now covered. He is absolutely... That was a disaster, wasn't it? Oh. All right, it's going to get fun here. Thomas Dubois is here. Hello. Sometime sommelier, will Cat be canceled on Tuesday? I hope not. If it is, then everyone who votes to cancel it needs to get eaten. I'll say that right now. And KCB also says Berkshire had their meeting and dropped loads of Apple, but still hold much. They're sitting on 180 billion or so in cash, not using it now. Is this saying they think some drop will happen? A drop will definitely happen. Buffett goes by the Buffett index, which he looks at the GDP and the value of the stock market. And if it's 1-to-1, cool. If the stock market is below the GDP, buy as much as you can. When it's above the GDP, such as now 100% above, it's 200% what GDP is, sell, because that sucker is going down. It wants to get back to equilibrium. So yeah, he has sold off a lot of stocks, and they're amassing a huge amount of cash on hand because I think he's looking at discounts coming. That this is not going to be able to hold out forever, that the market is so overinflated that it's got to correct at some point. And it's been overinflated for a long time. And it's been taking longer than usual for it to correct. But yeah, he's no dummy. That's what he's waiting on. He's been telling everyone like, hey, this thing is overvalued. I'm holding on to cash. So it's coming. I lost my spot. Where was it? That was a can't cancel one. Oh, Kenny Terhune, the McDonald's computer kiosks are garbage, and the same for self-checkout grocery stores. Yeah, I am okay with making a law banning self-checkout. Just make it against the law. The union, the UFCW, the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, they would love it. They'd be like, hell yeah, ban those things. Let's get employees back into stores. I remember it must have been like 2011. I drove down to Portland to pick up my friend Aaron. Aaron had flown in from Hawaii. He was visiting friends of ours in Portland, and I was picking him up, and we're going to go out mining. And we stayed the night at our friend's house in Portland. And Aaron's like, I got on the plane and I forgot a toothbrush. Let's go to the grocery store. So we went to the grocery store. All he needed was like toothbrush, toothpaste. And he like goes to go to self-checkout land. I'm like, no, you're in Portland, dude. Don't go to self-checkout. He's like, why not? I'm like, because it's a bunch of hipsters and they're going to have like tiny little bags of like granola and grain and like 4 lemons. And it's going to take forever. He's like, oh, no. And it's exactly what we had. It's like, buddy, if we just gone to that line over there, they'd got boop, boop, and you've been paid, you've been out of here. And I hate self-checkout. I just absolutely hate it. I hate having to do somebody's job for them. That makes me more mad than anything. Like, McDonald's can't keep their ice cream machines running. How on earth are they going to make sure their kiosks run and the robots that have to flip the fries are going to be running? You're going to spend $250,000 on a fly flipping robot with a $50,000 a year maintenance fee, right? All to save the $10 an hour you'd normally pay somebody. You're just losing money on this machine for the moment it happens. At the airports, you used to have ticket counters. You still have ticket counters. You get in line, you wait in line, you go up. Yeah, I'm going to this location. You give tickets, you whatever. And they go boop, check your ID, and they check your bags and gone. Now you go to a kiosk. The kiosk probably costs $50,000 for a stupid laptop computer shoved into a box, and it has nothing but problems. So they're not saving money by not having people behind the counters. They still have the people behind the counters because the kiosks fuck up so much. You got to go to the counters anyway. And like, oh, I'm going this flight. This is my last name. That's my flight number. Poop, my ID. How many bags? I got 2 bags. Yes, I'm checking all the way through. Curp, your tickets and your baggage, tag are printing. Tickets come out, no baggage tag. Excuse me. No baggage tag. Oh, come on over here. And they're like, give me your credit card. I'm like, no, I just paid like $200 for these bags at that machine. I just need the receipt. Oh, don't worry about it. Just give me your card. I'm like, you're not charging me, are you? Because I just paid $200 and that machine just never printed me a receipt to put on my bag. Oh, no, that's fine. And they give them the card and they go swipe. It's like declined. It looks like you're overdrawn. Motherfucker. Just, what was that Suicidal Tendencies song? Ice-T did a great cover of it. You must like an anger problem. Anyway. Yeah, sometimes automation doesn't save you any time, energy, money whatsoever, because it forces you into this like inflexible narrative. My dad liked to talk about when he was still working with the Navy, as he did construction management on the naval base, and he has his office. And if he had to go investigate a construction site to make sure they aren't cheating the government, right? He had to take a government car. Wasn't allowed to take his own car. So he would go to this basket. There's keys, the little tags on them. And you pull out a key and it tells you what car it is. And you go to the sheet and you sign it out. John Wade has this car. And then you drive the car to the site. You do your site thing, get back in the car, come back to the office, record the mileage, and then write that back down on the sheet when you put the key back in the basket. Easy peasy, done. Like, I need to go to the site right now. It's got a phone call. I'm heading out. Grab the key, sign out, go to the site, come back, do whatever. They changed to a computerized system. And the computerized system was managed by the office manager. And you had to, I've got to go to a job site. Let me log into the website. Okay, select I need this car and select enter. And then you'd wait and you'd wait and you'd wait and you'd wait. And eventually, and if she saw that, then she would go to her little cabinet, punch in her code, get a key out for you, and then bring you a key to go drive that car somewhere. Sometimes it would take days for the office manager to realize that people were requesting cars. And by then, whatever it was my father was supposed to investigate on the job site, it was over. The thing had been built, whether it's to specification or not, who knows? But the construction had been done, the window of opportunity was gone, and the entire system fell apart because somebody wanted to automate it and make it efficient. And it just doesn't work. Here in Seattle, at the ferry terminal, we used to have a person at a door that sit in a stool, they had a shoebox and a little clicker. And you throw your ticket into the shoebox, they click you to go into this area that was safe and controlled, and only people who had tickets to go on the ferry were in that area. And that guy who collected tickets, he probably made $50,000 a year plus benefits, right? He's a state employee. He sits in that little booth and he goes clickety click, 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 and whatever. To save on the employee that made $50,000 a year, they had a $64 million contract to put in turnstiles. And they didn't put the turnstiles in, like, as you enter the waiting area. They put the turnstiles in before you can get onto the gangplank for the boat. So here's what happens. You buy a ticket. It's got a little QR code on it. Everyone stands around waiting. Like time to board the boat now, and everyone tries to pack into these turnstiles and boop their tickets. Except the tickets aren't booping half the time. Half the time they do boop it, but they don't go to the turnstiles. They boop it again. It's like, nope, ticket's already been used, and then it backs up the entire line, and it takes forever to get on the boat. And now you don't have one person sitting there with a shoebox, right, collecting tickets. Now you have 4 people running around back and forth trying to get people through these turnstiles in time so they can get on the damn boat. Because it's the stupidest system. Like, you take the New York subway, you don't wait till the subway pulls up to the station before everyone goes through the turnstile to get in. No, you go through the turnstile 60 feet away, right? So that you're ready to get on the fucking train when you're good to go. But no, we can't pay that guy $50,000 a year. So now I have to pay 4 people $50,000 a year, plus the $64 million to build the turnstiles, the computer system, sell tickets, plus whatever the $1 million a year maintenance contract is for all that crap. Like, just sometimes analog is just better. I hate to be a Luddite because I do like my technology, but sometimes it's better to just turn a page than to scroll. It just works better, man. Like, anyway, enough ranting on that one. Stocks 808, Houston. Do you have any thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch? It's all fake. Skinwalker Ranch, the Oak Island Treasure, Ghost Hunters, it's all bullshit. Every single one of those things. KCTB. I don't trust Buffett's aw shucks fakeness for 1 second. He's an absolute shark with insider knowledge. Do you have any stories about him? Do you have any stories about Warren Buffett? I've never met the man. But I do remember a few years ago, there was a series of articles the Seattle Times did about a mobile home company called like Tropic Homes or something that Berkshire Hathaway had purchased. And after Berkshire Hathaway had purchased this mobile home company, manufactured homes, whatever you want to call it, the quality of construction just disappeared to the point where almost 100% of homes that were delivered were malfunctioning. I'm talking like leaky roofs, cracked floors, holes in the floors, things like that. And they wouldn't honor any of like the 10-year, 20-year warranties that these homes had. And these are people who buy these mobile homes mostly are people who don't have other options, right? They might have a chunk of land somewhere. The chunk of land, you know, you might not be able to get a building permit, so you can put a temporary structure on like a mobile home, or they can't afford a more permanent structure, but they can spend 30 grand and get a double wide and have something to live in. And that's all that matters to them. And then they get this piece of garbage from Tropic Homes, and there's no recourse or outlet for them. Like the warranty's not being honored. They're stuck living in this leaky, shitty house that wasn't built to the standards that they were promised. And Berkshire, you know, had control of this company, control of the board, and they were really unresponsive to any of the quality concerns of everyone. So yeah, total sharks. They will shark it up any day of the week. I think one problem Berkshire has is only 25 employees, but they have large shares in hundreds or thousands of companies. And I think one of the last year they were okay. I don't see any possible reason or way for GME or any stock to fly as they just don't have to cover ever. There's no way they need. Why do you think different? There are instances where people don't have the collateral or the liquidity or the margin to handle what they've done. And they may not have the trading partner to do their swaps that they normally would have, because hedge funds are starting to blink out of existence again. And when you get to those T35s and you don't have anyone you can do a swap with to trade your liabilities, the clock does not reset and you got to go out and buy. So here we are, closing in on T35 from earnings when they hammered the stock price down for absolutely no reason. And the only way they could hammer it down was through short selling. And there might be some folks who were not able to trade away their swaps, and they're now coming due. So get to it. But yes, your home remark. Yeah, construction is definitely going to be slowing down. If you guys want to build your dream home, my guess is maybe 2 years from now, you're going to get screaming deals. You're going to have lots of competition. Everyone's going to be trying to do it for as little money as they can in a bid. And so it'll be time to build your public infrastructure, it'll be time to build your homes, time to build whatever buildings you need. In 2012, the city of Bainbridge Island wanted to build a new police station and courthouse, because the police station is in like a 80-year-old unreinforced cinder block building that's a piece of shit. It needs to go away. First responders should not be in there. An earthquake will topple it and they'll all die, and then it'll be chaos. And the court is in like sort of a revamped self-storage, not the classiest courthouse. So they wanted to build a new justice center, police station, the courthouse in it. And the price they were quoted to build was $9 million for this new facility in like 2012, 2013. I was like, do it now, build it now. And everyone in the community was like, $9 million, that's so expensive. Why do we want to pay that? And I was like, because it's the cheapest it's ever going to be. Because the economy is absolute shit. No one's building anything, so you can get the cheapest construction you've ever had. And they had a vote. Everyone went, no. And then a couple years later, they tried to do it again. $50 million. Everyone's like, this is outrageous. Duh. Take advantage while you can, man. It's coming again. Jesse, FINRA fraud, justice for all, MMTLP shareholders. Yes. Christopher Stedman, how's it, Houston? Low off from Waikiki Beach. It's 5:29, still in the big court. It's 5:29, still the big court day for BBYQ. If not, then crash in new equity. I have over 150,000 shares. That's a lot of shares. There are hearings, I think, on like the 16th. There are ones for the 9th to 29th. There were dates. I think the 17th is when Ryan Cohen's expected to file his request for dismissal in 16B. Can't remember all the dates. Everything's kind of just numbers flying around in front of me. But my guess is like every month we have the big hearing, and half the stuff gets pushed off to the next month. So there could be a big hearing on the 29th, and it gets pushed off to sometime in June. Yeah, that just seems to be how it works. Corporate walnut, just by the opposite of what you think, always works. Yeah. Did we break out of the Dorito of Doom? I think so. I think we have. Happy birthday, says MS. Can you please explain why unemployment needs to go up for inflation to go down? In theory. Inflation is a result, well, I should say, theoretically, inflation is a result of there being too much capital on hand. People have too much money, and they're able to spend it, which means if there is any scarcity of goods, the price of those goods are going up. So a way to cut the price of goods going up is to reduce demand, and to reduce demand, you make sure people don't have money. So demand goes down, which means there's now competition in the price for things, and those prices should theoretically come down and stabilize inflation. What we've seen is we saw the government print like $1 kajillion during COVID at a time when there were supply chain issues and manufacturing problems, and there just wasn't many goods out there that people could buy. They just did not exist. So prices went up for cars, prices went up for construction tools, prices went up for, lumber, etc. And they haven't quite come down ever. Lumber came down a bit, but everything else kind of went up and it stayed there. And then there were manufactured crises, egg shortages. The bird flu. We had to kill all these chickens, and now we don't have any eggs. And so prices on eggs went up, tenfold. And then we discovered that the egg companies, their profit went up 730,000%. So that there wasn't in fact a shortage of eggs. It was just everyone being screwed over by the egg companies. That, car companies weren't hurting because they made, GM made $22 billion in profit in 2022. They did just fine. They could have sold you cars, but, they're like saying they don't have chips to do it. and they artificially restricted how many cars were out there to force the price of everything to go up. McDonald's, the average pay for people at McDonald's has not gone up. They own the farms. They own their own tomato fields. They own their own burger, beef fields, cattle ranches. They own everything. Their costs haven't gone up. The cows are eating the free grass. It's still just fine. But they're going to charge you more as much as they possibly can to squeeze out every dime out of you as they can. So the inflation that I think we're seeing is not actually from too much cash in the hands of us little people. And definitely not a lack of goods or products out there, but almost entirely manufactured by price gouging from the monopolies who control all this stuff. There's 4 companies who make all the food in the U.S. that you see in the grocery store. 4 of them. They own everything. Right? There used to be thousands. There used to be thousands upon thousands of companies. There's 4. And if you go to the grocery store to go get beef, right, you are probably buying it from this Brazilian family that owns almost all of the slaughterhouses and half of the cattle ranches in the U.S. It's a monopoly. And they can choose to sell their beef for whatever they want. And you, as a consumer, only have them to buy it from. They can have different names. They have also different labels on all their beef products. It's just one company, right? You got 2 companies that do all the chicken. You know, Tyson's the big one. They've all been sued recently by the attorneys generals all over the United States and different various states and lost. There's been some huge settlements for price gouging, for price fixing, for things like chicken. And if you've bought chicken since like 2008, you should be getting a check in the mail if you're one of the states whose attorney general sued. And so it's all monopolistic action. So they can claim it's inflation, but really it's just price gouging by everybody. Look at the oil companies, right? Oil prices. Oh, oil prices are $100 a barrel. Oh no, oil prices are going up. And ExxonMobil's like, oh, I'm so sorry, we got to charge you $5 a gallon at the pump. ExxonMobil owns the oil fields. They own the shipping containers and the pipelines. They own the oil refineries. They own most of the fuel stations. So they're completely vertically integrated. They're largely not buying oil in the open market because they have the oil they're sucking it out of the ground, putting it on their ships, putting it in their oil refineries, and then distributing it out to their own gas stations that they own. So ExxonMobil has no reason whatsoever to charge you $5 a gallon for fuel because it is not costing them anywhere that much like it is somebody else who has to buy that oil in the open market. It's all price gouging. They could easily outcompete their competitors and lower their prices and be like, suck it, losers. But they won't because they want to make a gajillion dollars, and they still get like $35 billion in tax credits from the government every year, despite making $100 billion in profit. It's all price gouging every step along the way. So I hope the FTC just breaks everybody up into a million pieces again. Tom Dubois, don't go solo. Bring your Pacololo. And KCDB, NPR said 1.5 of Gaza protesters are not affiliated with schools. Seems like Roger Stone style setup in some ways. Look up Brooks Brothers riot 2000 election. I'm sure there's people who are not part of the schools at the protest because that's where the protests are meeting. That happens. When Occupy Wall Street took over various financial districts all over the country, for some reason, they didn't take over the financial district in Seattle. They took over the Seattle Central Community College campus, where my brother-in-law was acting president. And he was like, please go away. And like, why don't you have one of your PhD students from your economics department come out and talk to us? He's like, we don't have a PhD department. We're a community college. We offer 2-year degrees to people who are hoping to go back to school. Like, we're poor. These are all poor students. All these people are poor. You're blocking the poor people from going to school. Go 5 blocks down the hill to where the financial district is and block them. That's who you want to protest against. I'd see him on the news like every night. He'd be like, I just want them to go away. And try to do it as diplomatically as possible. I could see he was just like, kill me. We love you, Warren. But man, it's funny seeing him on the news every night. Why are you looking at me like that? Kitty? Are you stoned? Did you do it? You were covered in kitty stuff. That's right. Look at your drugged hand. There you go. Raw. JL 2023, can someone search X for new excretions about another round of Tesla layoffs? I refuse to make an account, but I'm curious. I just saw that Tesla is another 10,000 are going to get laid off. So it's going to come out to, what, 20% of the total global workforce laid off in a month. And from the email that went out to all the contractors for the supercharging network, it seemed like it was completely arbitrary that everyone's supercharging network were laid off. There was no thought, rhyme, reason, plan B. They just all of a sudden was like, on a whim, you're all fired. And there's all these contractors that have contracts to break ground on supercharger stations all over the world that now have no contacts with the company. So they have a legally binding contract to start construction, but the email's like, don't start construction, please. We'll figure this out. It seemed very messed up. It seems like kind of Elon's doing at Tesla what he did at Twitter, which is just arbitrarily fire everyone. And then if you have any problems, if you can, hire someone back to fix that problem. It resulted in things like Elon fired the person who makes corporate badges. And then they locked themselves out of the headquarters and no one could get in. So Elon was begging the person he had just fired to come and help them figure out how to unlock everything so they can get into the building. Like, dude, I think Elon takes hits of ketamine and thinks, I can do everyone's job for them. And then he acts on that. The entire reason Elon Musk is able to build, 500,000 cars a quarter is because he has people building 500,000 cars a quarter. You cut that by 20%, and you will not be building 500,000 cars a quarter. You might think, maybe I'll build 400,000, but it's probably going to be less than that because you may have fired entire sections of assembly lines and now have to retrain people from other sections of assembly lines to do the job that those people did because you arbitrarily just sent them home one day and were like, I don't need you anymore. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. I mean, all their car models are really old. They need updates, and he fired the vice president in charge of new models. So, like, we have a tired lineup, and everyone thinks our cars are old and look too much alike. They can't tell the difference between them. I have an idea. Let's fire the person who's supposed to make us a new model. That will teach them. It's like GM did this stuff in the past. GM owned a majority stake in Suzuki, a little Japanese automaker. And in 2006, 2007, gas prices started skyrocketing, right? They peaked in 2008 at $4 a gallon or whatever. And GM's response was, I know what to do. Let's sell our stake in Suzuki, the company that made affordable, cheap, fuel-efficient cars. Let's get rid of them and focus on large SUVs. And then the financial crisis hit and like, crap, no one's buying our large SUVs. This is insane. Corporate MBAs are just the dumbest people, man. They're so stupid. All of them are just so dumb. They do dumb stuff all the time. Boeing is a case in point of MBAs just run rampant doing dumb things. They seem to think like, I can just sort of like cut this out over here, whoosh, zero out that part of the balance sheet, and we have savings. The problem is that you produce a crappy product and no one wants it anymore. Or it takes too long for the product to get to market, so it's passé. They don't want it anymore. Or you have to cut so many corners to get to market because you don't have the proper assembly line or expertise or know-how. Then when it does arrive, things like your gas pedal aren't attached to the car, so they just slide up and the gas pedal gets stuck under the dashboard and the car won't stop. Just goofy things like that. Just quality control is so important. Just do it right the first time. The Toyota way. Elon Musk needs to go read the Toyota way and go, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. Just do it right the first time, man. And then you're golden. Yeah. Okay. And that was a lot of ranting I've been doing. Okay. KCB, ever read Zen and Motorcycle? So Zen and Motorcycle Maintenance. Yeah, I read it like 25 years ago. I was in high school when I read it. Remember that book? It says all they have to blame people. All they have. All right. It says all have a they to blame. Do you ever think this is just blaming people for all of us being poor, not owning ourselves and place in the world? No. I mean, you have a limited capacity as to your own autonomy. Like, you do have options, but your options are very limited when you don't have capital, right? So if you're born into a poor family, in a poor neighborhood with poor schools, your chances of breaking out of that poor neighborhood and poor schools and achieving something great are minuscule. Right? You aren't going to have the best education. You aren't going to get into the good colleges. You may not even realize that those options are there for you because you're so ignorant and poor and set in your ways that you don't know what's out there. You don't know to ask a question. You don't know what to strive for. And you can't, it'd be like blaming some barefoot kid who's an orphan in post-war Rwanda. Be like, buddy, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, I don't know why you're sitting on your laurels. You'd be accomplishing so much right now if you just did that grind life. Sometimes you're so focused on survival that you don't have the ability to, you don't have the time or luxury outside of survival. And that's where a lot of people are in this world, is they are just surviving. And they put in their time at work and they're exhausted. They have a minimal amount of time that they can focus on rest and recreation, and they got to sleep and do it all over again. And, there are people out there who keep people in shitty lives because it's better for their bottom line, and that's it. And that's no fault of the employees. It might be the only job they have, right? A town can only have so many Subway sandwich artists, and everyone else, what are you going to do? Right? If there's no other jobs, the factory shut down, the town moved on. Okay, you got to move on to the next town. Okay, the next town needs a whole bunch of data scientists. Well, I have a high school diploma, and I worked in a sawmill for 20 years. That's not going to be my job. I guess I will work as a Subway sandwich artist in this town. It's just, there's a lot of circumstance out there. And I believe, the mission statement of the show is, I believe that we create a society to make everyone's lives better, not to maximize profit and drive revenue. That yeah, you can get some benefits from the fact that it's society, but if the only benefit of society is for the very few who get it all, then society's broken. Everyone needs to at least have a base rate of your needs taken care of. That's it. Shelter, food, clothes. There you go. Once we get past that, people's drive and ambition and work ethic, brain smarts, ability, then you can start focusing on all those things. But what we hear is, you should take out those student loans unless you could afford to pay them back. Oh, so you think only rich people should have a college education? Then there goes our meritocracy, right? It comes back to one of my favorite Stephen Jay Gould quotes. He says something about, I'm less concerned about the weights and convolutions of Einstein's mind and more about the fact that people of equal caliber and ability died in the sweatshops and the cotton fields. There are absolute freaking geniuses all around us who, because of their station in life and what they were born into, will never be able to have their abilities maximized for the benefit of society, because they're stuck rearing babies, working in sweatshops, coal mines, whatever. And because we didn't have the system in place for the meritocracy of letting the cream rise to the top, because the top was too overcrowded with a whole bunch of, Ivy League, legacies, and those bros get to have everything, and they already had everything to begin with. So, they're not the best. They just were born rich, and so their station in life is being born rich. There's that study NYU did years ago. They followed these kids for 30 years, like tens of thousands of children for 30 years. And what they discovered was it's better to be born rich and stupid than smart and poor. That the rich, stupid kids, they were rich, stupid adults. And the poor genius kids, they were poor genius adults. The only thing that mattered was whether you were born with money or not. I think I've talked about that one before. Here we go. This is the Daily Mail had a little blurb on it. So it is better to be born rich and stupid than smart and poor. Gifted children from poor families are less likely to graduate than wealthy but low achieving students. Not only that, but they followed them throughout their entire lives and discovered that as adults, well, yep, it sucks. That's just the way it is. It was the NYU study from 2010? 2018. Okay, so it's much more recent than I thought it was. That's just life, man. It's just life. You oftentimes are stuck in the station you're born. And we talked about the show the other day, like your religion largely depends upon where you were born, right? Like, I am a Catholic. Why are you a Catholic? Because my parents were Catholics and their parents were Catholics and their parents were Catholics. Okay. So someone else who was born into a different religion, they're evil. No, it's just where they were born. That dude was born in Kathmandu. His family's Buddhist. Oh no, they're morally corrupt. No, it's just where they were born, man. That's how it works. But yeah. Where am I going? Oh, that's Zen Motorcycle. The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a good book, though. I do recommend that. Cabo, any word on NextBridge? No word since they filed that inquiry with TradeStation last week. Treetop, did you hear that Merrill Lynch not allowing ODTE trading unless you have 1 million in your account? So you have to be an accredited investor, huh? Interesting. No, I've not heard that. Matt S., any word on Rosa? I have not heard from Rosa. I messaged her yesterday and still not heard back. So if anyone can poke Rosa, I'd be like, hey, Rosa, say hi to Houston for me. But she's a busy girl. She's dealing with war in Gaza, with trying to get married, with being spread thin across 3 different jurisdictions for her legal work. Like, I totally get it. And her own lawsuits and all that stuff. So if she has time, I would love for her to come back on, but I totally get it that she's a busy lady. KCDB, why do local banks freak out if you try to withdraw $10,000 in cash? They don't ever have it, or it needs special clearance. Yet they offered $2,000 for $500,000 IRA transfer, and that is shady, right? They want money. Oftentimes, the banks don't have too much cash on hand. You have to order it, and I think it's a safety thing because people come in like, give me all your money. And then if they don't have like $100,000 on hand, then the bank robbers don't get very much. But if you order it, they can facilitate that for you. They can do things like offer $2,000 for your $500,000 IRA transfer or whatever, because that's all wired. That's being wired from one vault to another, and that's okay. That's easy to do. But individual branches don't necessarily have vaults. It's like, the home branch headquarters. They've got the vault with all the cash in it and everything. If you need $10,000, just follow the Brinks truck that shows up. They'll have the cash. Green-eyed bandit elixir. There's a lot of explanation for the GME run-up being because of options, but how can we explain costs running up when they have no options? The basket. The basket is running. So when GME goes, was it the XTF ETF. Is that what was XTF? Is that one? That one runs as well, which caused everything else in the ETF to be buoyed. They were all shorted the same amount. They were all shorted the same. And every time GME runs, cost happens to run as well. That's the basket. Right, buddy? Right? You floor dog, you. KCB also asks, my in-laws have over $2 million in retirement accounts and take out Social Security and Medicare each month. Are we all doomed in the future since rich people take it? Will we have Social Security? I think the thing that will doom Social Security is that rich people don't pay in. That the FICA tax, I think they raised the FICA tax to like $120,000, so you'll pay Social Security on $120,000 of income, but you don't pay it on anything above that. So the filthy rich don't pay into it. They pay up to $120,000, but you know, heads of companies, executives, lawyers, baseball players, they're not paying into Social Security. They'll be able to withdraw on the $120,000 that they paid in, but they will not contribute to the rest of society. You need the rich people paying into these systems for them to work for everyone else. And it's that simple. You need them paying into Medicare and Medicaid. You need them paying into all these systems. Even if they don't use them because they don't need them, you still got to make them pay into it. I don't have kids, but I pay taxes for the schools, right? I'm not benefiting by having the children I don't have exist go to these schools. But my tax dollars, I feel like we need to have education for children in this country because it's incredibly important. So I have no problem paying tax dollars for that. It would be weird if like everyone who's childless didn't pay into the school systems, or everyone who'd never rode public transportation never paid for the public roads. I walk everywhere. I don't drive a car. Therefore, I will never pay for road transportation taxes. Like you do, but you inadvertently benefit from the stuff in the end. 1, Social Security allows old people not to have to eat cat food. Cool. 2, paying for schools means your public is trained, right? And they can go do jobs for you. So you can hire good employees if you're a rich person. 3, you pay for roads even if you walk everywhere because you still get goods on those roads. Trucks still come and deliver food to the grocery store. Trucks still come and deliver your packages, right? Food, whatever, like that. Everything comes in on those trucks. So that's why you pay into these systems, because everyone benefits because we live in a society. And I think rich people, the FICA tax should have no limit. Whatever you make, you pay a certain percentage on that into the system, and that will make it work forever. I mean, if you have $2 million in savings, right, you might be pulling down $80,000 to $120,000 a year, probably, in the annuities from that. So the two of them, that comes out to like $40,000 to $60,000 each. That's, not quite middle class even. So yeah, you get to pull a little bit of Social Security and go there. If you have $1 billion in the bank and you're pulling down, $85 million a year in interest off of your investments, you don't give a shit if you get your $1,200 Social Security check, right? So don't even let them withdraw. Just whatever. So there's a big difference. There's a big difference between those two things. Kenny Terhune, Houston needs Starlink for faster web search. I just need Comcast to do their damn job is what I need. And what's your favorite TV show, include streaming or anything? Like new TV show. I just finished watching The Gentleman. I enjoyed that a lot. A Guy Ritchie show on Netflix about a duke who inherits the family estate and has to become a criminal. I am very partial to, I love cop shows. I kind of generally not a fan of cops, but I do love cop shows a lot. Detective shows, things like that. I like Bosch, Miami Vice, Nash Bridges, original Magnum PI. I watched The Rookie recently. Fantastic cop show. I started watching Will Trent. Great cop show. Shot on location in Atlanta. Here's the thing, like, when I watch a lot of cop shows that are shot on location, I watch Miami Vice. I go, dude, I want to explore those places in Miami Vice. I watch Magnum PI. I'm like, oh, I want to see all those places in Hawaii. I watch Bosch or The Rookie. I'm like, dude, I want to know where they filmed all this stuff in LA. Go check it out. I watch Will Trent, which is great storylines, good mysteries, whatever. There has not been a single thing in 2 seasons where I go, oh man, I really want to see that place in Atlanta. To me, it just shows Atlanta must be the most dull city in the entire world where there's nothing interesting to look at, because all other shooting locations are boring as fuck. So my idea for the Will Trent people is make more exciting shooting locations so that people want to see Atlanta. Right? You guys understand what I'm picking up what I'm laying down? Oh crap. Chat just reset again. Okay. IHW was the most likely spin now that Republicans will use to sway election 2024. What is hot issue? Is it Gaza? Is it war in Ukraine? Trump is testing it now, saying he will end it day one. Well, Trump will definitely go out of his way to end support for Ukraine day one, because that's his entire job. He's beholden to his Russian overlords, and yeah, it's not his interest financially or safety-wise to allow Ukraine to continue to wipe out Russian soldiers. So yeah, as far as Gaza, he wouldn't be any better for Gaza because he's as much a supporter of Zionism as anybody else. So there'd be no change there. He would rally behind Netanyahu more than Biden has. Biden's reluctantly done support and been like, he doesn't want to, because I think he genuinely thinks Netanyahu is a terrible human being and doesn't like him on a personal level. But they've got this 80 years of allyship and blah, blah, blah they got to worry about. So it's kind of like he's holding his nose and doing it, I think, at this point. But I think Republicans will hammer on immigration. They complain about immigration constantly. Oh no, immigrants, they exist. Oh no, even though it has no effect on their lives whatsoever, because they're not coming for their jobs. No one ever said I lost my lettuce picking job because these damned immigrants came in here and took it. No. I used to be the one to sweep up the park after hours. No, you weren't. So we need immigrants in this country. We don't have a population that will replenish itself. And so we need to take in immigrants constantly. If we're worried about undocumented immigrants, then how about we help some of our neighbors in North America and South America have stable governments that we didn't destroy via U.S. foreign policy? Have we tried that? Have we tried making sure the governments of these countries are democratic and work for the people? Instead, we fill them with criminals, and then when all hell breaks loose, people flee and they come to the United States because we're safer, and we go, how dare you? How dare you flee the gangs that we formed in your country? It's just me. But I would love to have a Western Hemisphere that is so modern that we could have a Eurozone type thing where we don't have borders. People just don't care who cares? Go wherever you want. We don't care, because wherever you go is lovely. I would love to have that. I think Republicans will harp hard on immigration because, that's something. They will try to ignore abortion as much as they can. They stepped in it as far as abortion goes, because the turnout of women is going to be insane, especially states that put abortion on the ballot. The women will show up. None of the Republicans will win, and they're going to lose seats in state houses all over the country. Every single solitary state that has abortion on the ballot, the Republicans will lose bigly. So, we'll see what happens. The Republicans don't have any money. They have no fundraising. What money they do have is going to get funneled to Trump, and the RNC is broke, essentially. So it'll be really interesting to see the lack of TV commercials that happen, especially for federal office, right? Hi, monkey. Matt S. Oh, you guys are talking about the bankruptcy shares. Yeah, you may not get a payout if you bought your shares when the company went into bankruptcy. If you buy your shares before bankruptcy, you might get a payout from these fraud lawsuits against the board, and that's the way it worked for Enron and a couple other companies. So we'll see where it goes. All I truly care about is getting equity back. If I can get equity back, awesome. If there's any cash on top of it, that is a bonus. I would love it. I'm not going to turn it down. But I want there to be a credit bid. I want there to be a change of control, and I want them to want the nulls. And to utilize those nulls, they got to give us our equity back, so that those shares become worth just big old bites of bread. That's what I want. KCB, is there potential for Jimmy to run to MOAS or expect hammering on Monday? I think there'll be gamma on Monday. I don't think it'll be huge. Weird things may happen and stuff may get out of control again. I would love for the volatility to come back, but like a run from $16 to $19, cool. Made a couple $100 per option. Better than losing money, right? I don't expect it to go from $19 to like 150. If it does that, fan-freaking-tastic. But if we make a run to what we did in 2022, we've got a $40 a share. That'd be pretty nice. That brings us to the equivalent of like 160 pre split end. It's a comfy price. That's, it's still below where GameStop should be, but it'll net some good wins for everybody. I gotta scroll down here. My voice feels like it's going right now. I'll do a couple more, and then our little Sunday show will come to end here. Koski406, Houston, hope you're well. You might be able to get the question. Don't know how long you've been going or will go. I got to run, so I will look up the answer later. Wait, Koski, when did you ask a question? Okay. Wanted to ask a question that popped in my head a couple days ago. I rafted a number of rivers in the U.S., like the Grand Canyon, for 18 days, and a bunch of other multi-day floats, like the Grand Ronde, yada, yada, yada. A couple days ago, I had this thought and figured you'd be a good person to ask. Recently, I learned from somewhere, maybe you, the rivers are formed and run oscillating shapes due to gravity. Moon Earth spinning some river formations, creating more perfectly oscillating rivers. Aside from physical diversions, is there a factor that forms more perfectly winding rivers, like longitude and latitude? Hypothetically, is there an ideal longitude or latitude that potentially directs water in a more even oscillating pattern? Maybe not so much longitude, but latitude mostly. Grand Ronde is really nice and perfectly half-moon arches, which is why is that more so than other rivers? There's not really much to do with the moon. It has a lot to do with how mountain ranges form and where glaciers come from. Okay, so we'll have to go to Google Earth for this guy. Earth in it. Okay, so we can look at the Grand Rondes out here in Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington. When you get winding rivers, you get them largely due to low flow rates. So high flow rates, it goes straight. It brings a lot of alluvium down with it. You can do some like headwaters of rivers. Let's see, here was a good one. We can go into the mountain ranges here. And so each one of these little valleys will have stream systems, like the snow melt and stuff like that come off of them. And it's really steep. So these mountains go from like 9,000 feet down to 4,000 feet. And the water has a lot of velocity to it and it churns up a lot of rocks. So there's a lot of alluvium. And then when you get into the wider valleys, the river starts to move a little more. You get a little more wiggle action in them. And if we go out to like, further down this valley, we start to get, oh, come on, pixels. You can do it. Give me some pixels. Come on, look to the river. Give me some pixels. Give me some pixels. There we go. We start to see this river here. I think this might be the Methow. Starts to wind more. You get these cut and washes and sandbanks. So like the river's going one direction and it hits a big rock wall and it turns. So you get the wash here of gravel. And all the high pressure of the water is on the rock face. And it starts cutting away at that as it turns that corner. And then you can look over here, and this is an old river channel, right? So this one's here is labeled the Methow, but really it is basically dry. So during a flood season, there may have been debris that got piled up and cut off this channel, so the river changed direction entirely. You can see ancient river channels even in these farm fields here. You can see like old remnants of oxbows out here for the river channel. If you go to like the border of like Arkansas and Tennessee, you can see these like crazy amount of oxbows. Mississippi River. So if you look at the valley itself, you can see from space, right, how wide the river valley actually is. The Mississippi River itself has flowed as far inland as basically, the inner third of Arkansas, and as far inland as this big chunk of Mississippi here. And if you zoom in, you can see where the border was made. Come on, border. Give me that sweet border again. Show it to me. Come on. Show me your border. There we go. You can see these like wiggles of the border. This was the border in, 1850 or whatever, whenever they made this. And you can see if you zoom in that the river does not follow that anymore. This oxbow is a little lake now. So this piece of land, this little island here, is part of Arkansas, but it's clearly on the Mississippi side of the river because it's now Lake Ferguson. It's an old oxbow. But there was a flood event, and that flood event caused the river channel to change, and now the river's over here. But in 1850 or whenever, the river channel made a big snake like this, right? So they have like Old River. So this here is an old channel for the Old River that went along here. You can see ancient remnants of these oxbows. It has a lot more to do with the velocity of the river and how much material it's carrying with it than anything else. You can see these ancient streams here mark the far edge of the ancient Mississippi River Valley. And this stuff all changes over flood times. And it's the same way for all these river systems. You can go to like the Tigris and Euphrates, right? And out here in Iraq, and you will see the same type of things happening in the river valleys. Come on, right? You have these winding, meandering rivers, and you zoom in, and you can see ancient oxbow lakes. This used to be the river channel here, but there was a flood event. River channel changed, cut off this side over here. Now it has an oxbow lake. all over the place. Happens on the Ganges. Happens everywhere. It has a lot more to do with how much material is flowing down and the rate of speed of those river systems than anything else. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Yeah. I'll do one more, and then my voice, I think, is done for the day. If I didn't get to your questions, I apologize. We're going to be doing a show tomorrow afternoon, so we'll do a Monday show as well. Okay. Pronto, after at Mo asks, what are some examples of practical ways you can support these poor geniuses you talk about? I would love to create, I mean, if I'm ever wealthy enough, we'll see. I would love to create a MacArthur Genius Grant type thing, but less Genius Grant and more like an I Like You Foundation. If I meet somebody in my life and I'm like, you know what, you impress me. Here's a grant, do your thing. I would like for that to be, right? comedians that make me laugh, people who write stuff that I think is funny, people who are mechanical geniuses, just people that like, I don't know, impress me. Thing is that I don't get to meet everybody, right? I only meet the people I meet, and the ones I don't meet, well, they're not my circle of influence, and I don't know they're out there. So you have to create some sort of system to, I don't know, recommendations, nominations, I don't know. Every once in a while you read about somebody in some little town in Africa, and you're like, whoa, that guy needs an opportunity. But I don't have the ability to give them the opportunities because I'm a nobody as well. So it would just be nice. Oh, my voice. For Garcia, Sunday night show. My night at work sucks so much less now. Thanks, HW. You the man. Well, I'm glad you're joining us, but I'm now just leaving because my voice is gone. The weather's gonna get real nice this week. Later this week, it's gonna be hot up here. I'm excited because the clock back. Oh, my head's in the way. The clock back here will show the temperature 69 degrees in this room right now. So I'm wondering what summer's gonna be like. I do wonder how hot this room gets. I'm betting it gets, in the 90s, if not triple digits at times. So we'll see how it goes. Monkey butt, you good? Drugged out cat? You didn't do anything wild. You just ate your drugs and then fell asleep. So a lot of fun that was. All right, everybody. It is after dark. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. See you tomorrow in a different shirt, different day. Rock and roll. If you get your questions, ask them again tomorrow. We'll do it then. Later? Cool. Peace.